First part of our session is to explain in few words what are the features integrating dynamic sources or D365 in the cloud with the BC. So that's what we do. Or we have a connector built that supports Dynamics 2009 and any later version, including any later BC version. The database that we do can be live or archive, and the database can be chosen either you are updating it, it's up active or not. So the architecture works like this. There's the primary source is a cloud, which is exported through web services running by the Docker into data lake. And we control the export format, and we also control the import format into a data warehouse. And here we use a polybase, so no additional software needed to interact here. And the Docker, it's pretty much like a smart virtual machine, 1 core 8 GB memory. It's like monthly it will cost you $10-15 to do this export. And that's good because you can scale up with the larger data. It works incremental and the data are here. Other sources, on-premise sources, would be uploaded in, if we have it in Azure Virtual Machine, if it's an archive part, or uploaded into a data warehouse if this is in a local environment. And the connection would be a link server, which is fast, and this is also a polybase, so it's all fine. Now, out of the box functionality supports all application area. You get granularity of document level, financial dimension, account schedule, and all the functionality that it is. The user will not see or feel the difference where the data are coming from. It is seamlessly integrated together. Now, what are the specifics? So in our case that I will present, we have 3 data sources. One is a cloud. We have 5 BF Dynamics demo databases, and then this is a Contoso database of BC17 and another 2009. So you can see I'm creating the financial dimension for the whole company, and then I'm mapping them. And what I'm doing here is I'm mapping the local dimension, which the Dutch company that started Dynamics long time ago didn't use an English name, so I have to put a friendly name that equals to everyone. I can also make a global dimension, additional currency, reporting currency definition new, doesn't have to be Dynamics as it has, and this is briefly the part. What are the challenges? Well, you know that they are totally different design. So if I start from the bottom, 2009 database, and we are looking into the count schedule line, has the normal name, a SQL name, is this what you get. Now with BC17, this is written as an extension, and BF Dynamics is aware of this standard and all other extensions. And here this is a cloud version, which I explained. We control the input and output through a data storage account, and that's our name, which we decided to use comma instead of the underscore. And all these tables are presenting account schedule line. Another thing very important is because we are generating the code, we design our model that we include the global dimensions, whether they are coming from the newer set like 2013 and higher, or 2009 and lower ledger entry dimension. And you can we support up to 20 financial dimensions, and the scripts is generated on the fly, so whether you have 1 or 10, that doesn't really matter. As a result of this transformation is the following. This is Excel report connected to the model, and we have 3 data sources, which is cloud, BC17, and on-premise, integrating the data. You can see it here. And also per each data source, we support the functionality of financial dimension. This is one financial dimension, and this is other financial dimension. You see, there are some NAs, but in every case, we definitely do have both financial dimension, which can be a challenge. Now, there is more about integration process than just pure technical integration, and this is what I would like to highlight, because this is here. This is where you can have problems or do it right. Now, first thing that's very noticeable is that technical and business process bring change. Technical process brings change to business process. It means that apart from the opening statement for receivables payables in inventory, most of the time is definitely going to be spent on mapping old and new dimension attributes, and that's kind of consuming. That's done by IT team usually, and at the same time there is a good time to fix erroneous transactions. It is a good time to fix erroneous transactions because you may have like quantities in trillions, and then you also reverse it, but not in the same day or in the same period, so the averages will go extremes, and the charts will not be as informative as it would be. And also once you move the data, once you keep data in old system, which users of course can access, but they want to see the data integrated, there'll be more demand because the reporting is moving from ERP to BI for the reporting. They will be using, and sometimes users start to use for pure operational reporting the BI, which is something could be still done in F&O. But knowing that the update time of the BC or ERP, especially of the Dynamics F&O, it's slow. You can open like receivables and it can take you half an hour to print or save 1000 pages, which is drag and drop in Dynamics. So definitely in this case you will have a positive impact on business. Apart from this, there are a few more technical aspects. We definitely have to check the data warehouse health. By health, by definition of health, I mean that everything that goes into this data warehouse, this is the count of staging tables, should go out. This is a count of dimensional tables. So if this is the same, if there is no difference, then we say system is healthy, which means we didn't do something wrong in the modeling, which with integration can quickly happen. And the same situation is for the data warehouse transactional tables or dimensions. This is something you have to keep an eye on every time you do customizations, and you should have a system in place that you can quickly monitor the differences, if they are, or check that everything is fine. Another aspect is you have to monitor processing time. In our case, in BFO Dynamics, we are measuring loading stage, creating indexes, data warehouse dimension, and data warehouse fact processing. We can simply see if everything is in the same range as before, then everything is fine. But suddenly, if you get something like empty or very high, you have to go to the details, you have to go to the stored procedure. We monitor each stored procedure that is executing and see whether it was just like you forgot to remove the filter, or there was something wrong and the number of rows inserted is 0, and that's why it was 0 also in the processing time or anything. And the system of monitoring supports also monitoring tabular database, where processing table is monitored just like if you're looking into the profiler. We have all this information. In this case is processing time in minutes by table and event subclass. At every point, it's really nice to have the documentation, and BFO Dynamics will create the documentation for you just with one click. So you can see this is 100 pages. We can see what is the source and the settings, and one, for example, sales analysis. It gives you the information about the structures of the object measure group, dimensions, how this is built, and going to the details about all the definition of either measures, dimensions, T-SQL, DAX, anything. It is here.